In this moment, as I turn to the stillness, I recognize Spirit. Spirit's quality of truth and love and beauty. Not only being qualities, but being the very essence of Spirit. Knowing that these qualities are expressed as Spirit through us. In every moment, in every interaction, in every thought. In this moment, I realize that there is only one here. That as I serve as Spirit. As each one of you expresses your unique gifts in service to one another and in service to the one, we are one. It is all the same thing. So in this place of gratitude for this day, to be able to come together as a community and express these beautiful divine qualities, I simply release my prayer, knowing that in the divine law, it is already so. And together we affirm this by saying, and so it is.
Good morning. This morning is celebration service, and so be ready to dance. That's all I've got to say for now. Stand up and move a little. Welcome to the Mystic Heart. Join the celebration. Lift your voice, sing your part. Make this affirmation. Spirit made us family with loving hearts to share. Together we are joyfully practicing the possible prayer. Stay on your feet. We're just getting started. Good morning, Mark. Mark. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be blinded of who we come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, 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 hey. family. Hey, 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 yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light. Everybody meet. Let us be reminded who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, 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 hey. Joyful sound. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody meet. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay, today's all about being in service. And so this last little dance number is all about that. And you'll catch on, so feel free to sing along. Well, how can I serve today, sweet spirit?
How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go.
How can I serve today, sweet spirit?
How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go.
Who needs my love today, sweet spirit?
Who needs my love today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go.
How can I share today, sweet spirit?
How can I share today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go.
Well, how can I serve today, sweet spirit?
How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go.
I am. Good morning. My name is Reverend Diana Johnson, and I'm the pastor and spiritual director of Mystic Heart Spiritual Center. Welcome home to your Mystic Heart, your own Mystic Heart. Welcome home to our spiritual community. We appreciate having you here with us today, and I know that your soul will be fed. So I'd like to thank Gary and Chris and Dalton for the music this morning, the extra time that it takes to be in service to the celebration. Just greatly appreciate it. So we're going to take a moment to bring ourselves fully present. Didn't I just say that? So our tech number 2 is going to go help stop the echo. We just never know what's going to happen. It's always an adventure. Yeah. As I said, here we are. Take a nice deep breath as we were. There it goes again. Oh, this is fun. If you're out there live on Facebook or YouTube, this doesn't happen all the time. You're privileged this morning. There we go. You just never know what's going to happen. I think we all needed some laughing yoga this morning. Oh, did the echo stop? Oh, yay. Okay. Oh, I think it feels as good or better to laugh sometimes than to take a deep breath. But let's go ahead and follow all the laughter with that grounding breath. Letting go of anything that you might have brought into the room, but maintaining the sense of joy and flexibility and just the sense of humor that spirit brings. A friend of mine used to say to her 7 homeschooling children, prepare your hearts and minds. So that's what we do this morning. We prepare our hearts and minds for all that is to follow. Decide right here and now that there is something here for you today. There is a reason that you're here. There's a purpose, there's a message that's meant just for your ears and your heart. And so let's affirm together that I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
Spiritual truth today.
And then together, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today. And I open my heart to feel the spiritual truth today. Not just words. Allow that to permeate into your heart, into your being. With a sense of joyful expectation, we sense our connection to our global community. We take a moment to acknowledge the radiant light that shines from within each one of us as human family, without exception, all over the world. Each one of us shining our light into the world. And then in this global web of consciousness that we create with the inner eye, we feel the presence of all beings. The light of divinity within every animal, within every plant, within every rock. We know that the sand and the water and the clouds just radiate with Spirit's light. And we just acknowledge all of it, and we acknowledge our connection with it. We allow that light to move out from us and our planet out into the galaxies and the cosmos, knowing that all that is God. So we offer the benefit of our prayer and meditation this morning to the whole, to the one, knowing that each one is blessed and prospered by the work that we do here today. And by setting this powerful intention, we lift ourselves up to new heights of awareness. We are prayed up. We are ready to go. So here we go. I'd like to begin with a question this morning. This is a celebration service. It's a little looser in structure. I've decided to break away from the podium. to move around a little bit. So I want to ask you a question as we begin. What the heck is she talking about? Love and truth and service. What is that topic? That's the question that I asked myself as I began to prepare this talk today, knowing that I had created the actual title in December, and then moving forward and going, what the heck was she thinking? So let me begin with what I mean by service. Sacred service is one of the 6 pillars of a spiritual life. Along with meditation and prayer, study, circulation, and celebration. Sacred service keeps us grounded in our oneness, in our interconnectedness, in our interdependence. It helps to keep us out of the self-absorbed, ego-centered mind. Sacred service is dedicating your actions, your work, everything you do to God. It's serving humanity, serving your community, serving your world, all while recognizing that through each and every act, you are actually serving the divine. And you're doing it with no expectation of any kind of return. It's not a trade-off. If I do this for them, then I'm going to get mine. You will, by spiritual law, get what is yours to have. You will have all needs met. But you're not doing that as a motivation. You're not serving so that it will come back to you. Sacred service is active prayer. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu mythology and sacred text, in the chapter on sacred service, author Eknath Easwaran shares the words of our Lord Krishna as he seeks to guide the protagonist, Arjuna. At the beginning of time, I declared 2 paths for the pure heart. The intuitive path of spiritual wisdom and the active path of selfless service. He goes on to say that for those who are more introverted by nature, it's important to bring balance to one's life by taking part in sacred action. And for those who tend to be more extroverted, it's important to engage in prayer and meditation and study to bring that same balance. Only then can we come into harmony as human beings. We can bring our own being into harmony. Only then will we be truly joyful and peaceful. So, okay, show of hands. How many introverts are in the room today? How many extroverts are in the room today? So do you agree with Lord Krishna that it's important to bring that opposite in for balance? I see a lot of truth in these words. You might not believe this, but I'm extremely introverted by nature in terms of what I need is a lot of internal time and quiet and prayer and meditation. And that's how I'm comfortable. My ability to interact with people and be with people so much is actually a developed competency, something I've worked on. Left to my own devices and without Spirit's gentle or sometimes not so gentle nudging, I would be in my room with my candles, my incense, my books, my prayers, my music, or maybe in my garden with my plants and my bugs. But that would be too easy, right? Prayer meditation for me is easy. Plants, those are easy. 24/7, I can be with plants. Plants don't have opinions of their own. They don't talk back. They don't place judgments on what I'm doing. But I wouldn't be growing into my full potential if that's what I limited myself to. So I'm called to ministry. A lot of time with people. I only have to go back one generation to my own mother, though, to find just the opposite. My mom was an extrovert. She needed to be with people all the time. She never stopped talking. She never learned how to be alone with her thoughts. She never learned to pray, to meditate, to pursue spiritual wisdom in any form. She was a beautiful soul. Don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing my mom. She was a really good friend to many, many people, many, 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 many people. But solitude and inner peace were not hers to find this time around. In her constant busyness, forever looking outside of herself for her happiness and her peace, she never found it, because it isn't outside of us, it's inside. She never knew her own divinity, because we tend to find our own divinity within. So how about you? Do you have a good balance in your life between activity and stillness? Between sacred service, prayer, meditation, study? That might be something to look at this next week. I know it's something I'm engaged in right now in a big way, because I can tell you I'm out of balance. So I am coming back into balance. I find that when I talk, when I teach, what comes out of my mouth is what I need to hear. So here I am. Coming back to the Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, the world is imprisoned in selfish action. Act selflessly without any thought of personal profit. That is sacred service. Dedicated and devotional action. The idea of sacred service shows up in Christianity as well. The Rabbi Yeshua had a lot to say about selflessness and serving others with no expectation of return. In the Sermon on the Mount, he goes far beyond telling us to help a friend or a neighbor or to care for our child when she is sick. He actually says that we're to love our enemies. That's sacred service. The Dalai Lama actually calls our enemies our sacred friends. Jesus says, love your enemies and pray for your persecutors. Now there's some sacred service. To love the unlovable and serve our fellow humans because we are one human family. Because every person is God informed. And because it's the right thing to do. So returning to the Hindu tradition, the Gita says that when you engage in selfless service, all your desires are fulfilled by the devas. Devas are the divine beings. But anyone who enjoys the things given by the devas without offering selfless acts in return is a thief. How's that? I think the Master Jesus taught a similar message when he said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. And then as you give, so shall you receive. What you reap is what you sow. And so if you're welcoming in all of the gifts in your life and you're giving thanks for all those gifts, that's just the first step. It then becomes ours to give back. And if we don't, we're a thief. To spend time fully engaged in selfless service is to say, use me, infinite presence. Use me for your highest purpose. What is mine to do today? And guide me in doing your work selflessly. to think that God is the sun and God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars. It's all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, for you. Here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Use me. Use me. Those are tough words to say sometimes because we don't know what's going to show up when we say use me. We can trust that it's the right thing that's going to show up, but it's not always the easy thing. So this idea of, I just turned it. Okay. I turned it. Excuse us, guys. I'm on. Okay. Well, today's a joy. I'm glad you're all here. So looking at the idea that when we say use me, it's not always something we like that comes. It's not always easy, but it is always the right thing. And I want to consider for a moment, when I say selfless service, does that mean that we're putting the needs of others always before our own needs? No, that's not what it means at all. I don't think that if I don't take care of myself and make sure that I'm all grounded and prayed up and ready to go, I don't have anything to bring you. Meeting my own needs, all of us meeting our needs and our family's needs will almost always come first, except for extenuating circumstances. I'm talking about something completely different here. First of all, let's be clear about a couple of things. Sacred service is not martyrdom. It's not enabling others. And it's not, if you want things done right, you best do them yourself. Okay, those are not sacred service. And I'm only saying this because I'm speaking what I need to hear. Those are three places I can get caught. Glad that's out of the way. Let's say that I'm being asked to do something I don't really want to do. From the standpoint of sacred service, I have two choices. Either way, I begin with checking in with my higher self. I try not to let my ego be the loudest voice. You know that voice, right? Or am I the only one in the room? Okay. Never heard it. I'm the only one. So I check in. Then I choose to put aside any sense of resistance that I might be feeling or preference that I might have. And I make a conscious choice to say yes. And I move into an attitude that then dedicates this service to God. Or the other choice is to graciously say no. No, thank you. No time, no room, no inclination. It's not mine to do. Either choice is fine. Either choice might be the right one at any given time. In other words, make your peace with the task at hand and either give it your wholehearted attention and do it with grace and dedication and devotion, or decline. It's that simple. Another example, you're being asked to do something and everything in your being says, I don't have the energy for one more thing. For God's sake and everybody else's, say no. If that is your internal reaction, it is not yours to do. And it is sacred service just as much to serve self and what you know is right as it is to serve others. Don't forget you're part of the whole as well. Again, just talking to myself here. So I find it amazing how many people volunteer in our world. They give their time to the good of others. We've seen a few of our short good news videos on Sundays. One that showed cosmetology students were giving manicures to people in the residential care facilities. We've seen Al's Angels helping the families of children with cancer. We've seen people locally here in Shasta County, the Humane Society, and currently Tales of Rescue we're supporting with our lunch donations. These people care and find homes for animals. FaithWorks here in town, helping unsheltered families with children and veterans get off the streets and into homes. All run by volunteers. In our own spiritual community, we have a volunteer cleaning fairy. We have sound and video technician. We have musicians. We have council members, prayer practitioners, money counters, bookkeepers and cooks, dishwashers, a maintenance supervisor extraordinaire. And that's just to name a few. People are generous with their time. My invitation, though, today is for us to look at something a little differently, to take a look at what we're doing in the world to serve others. And this can be your volunteer time and your time off. This can be serving the animals in your neighborhood. You might have stray cats in your neighborhood that you feed. This can be anything that you do in the world from the standpoint of, I stand as God in service to God. So where in your life do you do that? Where are those places? The second question is now, does the time you spend attending to your own physical, psychological, emotional, and spiritual needs, does that match or balance the time you spend serving others? Or is there an imbalance there? Are you heavy on one end or the other? When you give of your time, are you doing it as a volunteer, which means you're doing it because you want to, or as a sacred servant, because God is calling you to do it. Are you offering the gifts that only you can offer? And are you acting from a sense of sacred service and devotion? And if you're really not sure, don't be afraid to ask. Ask internally. Use the words of our opening song today, if you can't find your own.
How can I serve today, sweet Spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will. Join me once. How can I serve today, sweet Spirit? How can I serve today, oh Lord? Speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go.
How can I serve? How can I serve? So again, I don't want to leave you with the impression that sacred service is only what you do with your free time. Because for some of us, the words free time are like, what? You know, because we choose lots of activity. It's not a poor me thing. It's a, I choose to be pretty active, so I don't have a lot of empty time. You can approach your livelihood as sacred service as well. Whatever it is that you do to earn money to support yourself in the world can be your sacred service. It's more about attitude, the gift of lovingly, with no expectation of return, serving God, serving the whole, serving your neighbor through a conscious and caring attention and action. So I'm pretty sure that when I asked, what the heck did she mean? I think that's pretty much wraps up the message I wanted to give today. Is that let's take some time to look at selfless service, sacred service, seva, in our lives. And if there are places that we are volunteering, how can we bring our highest selves to those activities to turn it into sacred service? If we have jobs that pay our bills, that bring our income, what can we do to enrich those experiences to bring our hearts and our highest intentions into those activities? I feel fairly complete with the message. So let's just move into prayer right now. Please hold these words as truth as I speak them out loud for us. Settling into the deepest, deepest place within myself, that place of spirit. I feel and know God's presence in this place. It shows itself as each one here today, as the words, as the music, as the wisdom, as the prayer and meditation. It shows itself as the still small voice within each one of us that's nudging, pulling just a little here or there. Here's what I know, that each one of us has been touched deeply in some way today. That a seed of sacred service has been planted within the hearts and minds of each one here. that love and truth moves through all the ways that we serve in the world. I know that there's perfect balance between my internal and introspective and intuitional aspect of life and my external active engagement in the world. I claim and know that balance is present in each one listening today. I live from a deep harmony that comes from the easy back and forth rhythm of life. I know that there's work that is uniquely mine to do, and that is so for each and every one listening today. I willingly accept Spirit's guidance as it moves what is mine to do into joyful expression by means of this body, by means of my life. I'm so grateful for my growing awareness and for my willingness to ask and to listen and to follow. I'm thankful for the many gifts of this and every day. Gifts that enable me to give my attention to giving, to serving, to making the world a better place. As I am supported, so in turn, I support others. And I know the same is true for each one of us. I know that as one by one, each of us steps into what is right and true within us. We're doing our part to create a love-soaked world. And you know this is the favorite part of my prayer. Together we envision a world completely transformed by our prayer and our meditation and our vision, by our creative love and our wholehearted action. A world that is peaceful and joyful and abundant and free, where all beings practice loving kindness and care for our planet with respect and intention. We envision a world where all needs are met, all needs are met, where all beings have plenty of nourishing food, the safety of a warm and comfortable home, medical care and education, healthy relationships, right livelihood, creative contribution, and a deep sense of belonging. A world in which every being is valued for its inherent goodness, where the peace we cultivate within shows up in our world. A world that is free of violence, a world that is peaceful and loving and compassionate. We feel and know a world without greed, where there is absolute abundance in just having enough, where every being as a precious creation of God is deserving of all of the blessings that life has to offer and receives those blessings willingly and gratefully. With humanity serving as the vessels through which these blessings will flow, there is no reason we cannot have such a world. There is no reason we cannot have such a world. In God, all things are possible. And so we know that this is what is taking form right here and right now through our powerful word and our powerful vision. We place our faith consciously and willingly in the infallible givingness of our source. And we offer our heartfelt vision. And as we do so, the world is changed right here and right now, even if just a little bit. And all of the little bits that we move into our world add up. I'm profoundly grateful for all who are here and listening today. joining us in celebration, in prayer, and for the sacred service and other gifts that each one offers here and in the world. And so, knowing the power of my prayer, I release my word to the loving and powerful presence that I call God, with absolute faith in its immediate action. I know it is done here and now, and so it is. Amen. All right, so if you weren't feeling active when you got here this morning, this is just for you, because when we start the chant part of this, really like it if you get up and sing and move and dance with us. Yeah.
I used to sit and talk about how I wanted to change the world, but I always left it up for someone else to do. Then I finally realized I needed to take a stand, and that by changing my thinking, I could change my life. That's how I would change the world. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. Said we are making a new world now.
Right now. Right now. So it is. Woo! Thank you for joining in. We are making a new world now. It's up to us. So join me in this affirmation. There is power in our prayer.
There is power in our prayer.
There is power in our vision.
There is power in our vision.
We are revealing heaven on earth. We are making a new world now.
We are making a new world now.
And so it is. So every Sunday, amen, that's right. Hallelujah. Every Sunday, we invite you to join in our celebration by offering of your financial goods, should you choose to, in support of the work that we are doing in the world. We know that this is good work and that all of the gifts that are given grow and multiply and flow back out into the world. And so if you would join us in making a heartfelt prayer or affirmation for our offering. Waiting till it comes on the screen so you can join me. All right. As I awaken to the God within me and all around me, I see abundance everywhere I look. I consciously step into this flow of abundance. Act of this giving. It is Bless this gift, sending it forth to heal and prosper. It is evidence of my deep faith. It does good work in the world and blesses all of creation. I give from a consciousness of abundance, and so it is. All righty. I bet you've never heard this version of this song before, but once again, feel free to get up and move.
I thought God was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else, but not for me. Life was out to get me. That's the way it seemed. Disappointment haunted all I dreamed. Then I felt your grace. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, oh, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave you if I tried. Thought love was more or less a given thing. Seemed the more I gave, the less I got. What's the use in trying? All you get is pain. When I needed sunshine, I got rain. But what? Then I felt your grace. And now I'm a believer. And not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, oh, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave you if I tried. Everybody boogie. Life was out to get me. That's the way it seems. Disappointment, sunshine, I got rain. Then I felt your grace. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. Ooh, oh, I'm a believer. I couldn't leave you if I tried. Then I felt your grace. Now I'm a believer. There's not a trace of doubt in my mind. Oh, I'm a believer. Are you a believer? Yeah, I'm a believer. I'm a believer.
That's fun. All right.
Just bringing in all this joy, knowing that it is joyful to participate in the law of circulation. Knowing that as our good flows out, it goes all around and touches so many lives. And our good also flows back to us. Knowing that our community does good work in this world, I simply say thank you and pass this prayer to Diana.
And so we gratefully receive all of these gifts this morning and every gift of time and talent that is offered to Mystic Heart. And we do make that commitment that we, in a heartfelt way, grow and multiply these gifts so that they can be shared back. And so from our hearts to yours, I say thank you. And so it is. Amen.
Invitations, Tuesday, 11 a.m. to noon, Music and Motion, a body, mind, and spirit experience for mommy and daddy and me. Flyers are available if you have somewhere to post one for us, and I saw them on the ledge there. Tuesdays, 3 to 5 p.m., Michael Bordeaux's Book Club, a new book beginning on March 8th, Made for Goodness by Desmond Tutu Antista. Like that. Couldn't figure out how to say her name. Looked it up on YouTube, but you know how YouTube can pronounce it wrong as well, right? So, a really wonderful woman from what I was seeing from her too. Just really standing in her own authenticity and how she runs her life. So really, really neat. Connections Book Club and Meditation Circle. Please join Reverend Diana in the journey through Heart-Minded, How to Hold Yourself and Others in Love. Thursdays, this is from noon to 2 p.m. And Zoom will now be available for our long distance. Thursdays, 3 to 5 p.m. Metaphysical Bible led by prayer practitioner Chris Johnson. It's extraordinary. No knowledge of the Bible is necessary. And I'm sure there's plenty of humor there because it's script. Drop-ins are welcome with that anytime. Mark your calendars now. St. Patrick's Day dance party with Narayan and Janet. Yeah. March 17th, 7 to 9 p.m. Suggested donation for the tickets are $20 or $25 at the door. Refreshments will be served at 6:30. Get your ticket today. And then Saturday, March 19th from 10 to noon, praying in color. Is it called Mala Beads with Ellie? And that's $20 suggested donation. And Spring Tea Party and Easter Basket Raffle. That sounds fun. April 9th, 1 to 3 p.m. Contact Ellie for more information about that. And reduce your carbon footprint parking lot sale. That's Saturday, May 21st from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. For more information on that, contact Chris Fortier. And invitation for prayer support. I'll be right here after the service. So if you would like any prayer support or even just something jiggle loose and you have a question, I'm here for you. And then we'd also like to continue our celebration over there. There's food and fellowship following the service, and let's stand and sing our closing song.
What? I'm off.
Excuse me.
I took it off.
No, it's my thumb.
Okay. I took it off and turned it off.
I'm all
It's not
thumbs
me.
over here.
It's a powerful thumb.
Yeah. All right.
1, 2, 3, go.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take the past and set it free and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth come through you, take good flow to you, let joy renew you. Until we meet again, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Ooh, love be with you.
Hi, Ilana. Hi, Noah. Hello, River. Hi, Sydney.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take the past and set it free and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in, truth come through you, hang and flow to you, let joy renew you until we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, 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 love be with you until we meet again. Love be with you. Ooh, love be with you. Well, breathe it in.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
Many, many blessings.
Join us next door for lunch. Uh-oh.